Hi, Terry VanNoy. Welcome to Math Class with Terry V. Hope this video helps you out, and if you enjoy it, please share it, comment, or like it. And you can also go to my website, MathPowerLine.com. It's a math resource blog, lesson videos for students, and other resources for parents and teachers. Give me a call or go to my website or email. All right, let's go to today's lesson. This video is a part of a series continuing on here about factoring complex expressions. I'm going to talk about today sum and difference of cubes. What I mean is perfect cubes. Now here's an example of a cube. X cubed is of course x times x times x. It's something being multiplied by itself 3 times. Now if I put a coefficient in front of it, 2x cubed, that is not a perfect cube, okay? But if I have 8x cubed, that's really 2x times itself 3 times. All right, so the number and the variable has to be a perfect cube. So now think about it. 1 is a perfect cube. 8 is a perfect cube. 27 is a perfect cube. And what's the next one? Well, 4 times 4 times 4 would be 64. And you know, these are some common numbers that you'll see when we talk about factoring these kinds of expressions. Obviously, you know, we can't make it too huge, but if we just do a few more, how about 5 to the 3rd power? That would be 125, right? 5 times 5 times 5. And finally, what about 10 to the 3rd power? That would be 1,000. Okay? Now that's the numbers. The variables have to be multiples of 3. X cubed, x to the 6th, x to the 9th, and so on. Alright? This takes a little repetition and practice, but here's the general pattern when we're trying to factor the sum and difference of perfect cubes. When we factor the sum or difference of cubes, we get a very easy pattern. It's always the same. It's very consistent. We have a binomial times a trinomial in both cases. All right? So we look at what we've got. We have a cubed plus b cubed, and we simply put a plus b in the first binomial. All right? We want to make sure that these signs match. So down here, this would be a minus b to match the subtraction sign in between. So it's the cube root of each of those terms. Okay? Fairly simple so far. Now in the trinomial, what we're going to do is we're going to square this first one. So that becomes a squared, and the b squared is at the end. The same for our difference example down below. So the first term is squared and the 3rd term is squared to match our binomial. Now what about the middle term? Okay, this is a trinomial second part. Well, the middle term is just the product of these two parts. So a times b is ab. All right, very simple so far. ab in both cases. All right, now the signs. Okay, what are we going to do with the signs? Well, the thing we need to remember is the 3rd term of these is always positive. 3rd term always positive. Now what about the term, the sign of the middle term? It is always the opposite of the term in the binomial. Okay? So it's unlike signs here. Alright, now it looks like a lot to remember, but you'll see the pattern. So if this is in the second example, a minus b in the binomial, then we want to make sure that we put a plus here. Now the reason why all these signs are that way is, you know, it's too much for a short video like this, but it does happen to make, when you multiply all these things together using a version of the FOIL method, all the terms happen to be, you know, opposite signs, so they drop out, and that's why when you multiply this out, you only get 2 of these perfect cube terms. All right, now let's look at some coefficients. So let's say that it's 8 to the 3rd instead of just 8 to the 3rd. Well, in here we would put the cube root, which would be a 2. All right, now if this is 27b to the third, that's a perfect cube also, right? Because it's 3b times 3b times 3b. So I need to make sure I put the 3 as a coefficient with the b. All right, now remember that this first term is the square, so we do have to square 2a and get 4a squared. And 3b squared would be 9b squared here. We've got to make sure we put the correct coefficients in there. And again, it's a product middle term. So 2a times 3b is 6ab. Okay? And we keep that sign negative to make it unlike. All right, let's look at another example. 64. Well, yes, that's a perfect cube. It's 4 times 4 times 4. So put a 4 there and square it to put 16 there. All right? 8b to the third is 2b times 2b times 2b. So put a 2 coefficient there and square it to have a 4b squared third term in the trinomial. Now the middle term, the coefficient there is just the product here. 4a times 2b, 8ab. And then we have all those sign patterns we have to look at. All right, I've thrown a lot at you, but I want you to come back to this frame if you need to. Let's try some examples. 27y to the third minus 8. That's a perfect cube. That's a perfect cube. So the cube root of 27y to the third is 3y. And the cube root of 8 is 2. Match the sign. Now we're going to square 3y, and 9y squared goes here in the trinomial. I'm going to square the 2, and that will be 4. And I'm going to take the product of these two parts. 3y times 2 is 6y. All right, let's look at the signs. The sign of the middle term is the opposite here, so that would be plus 6y. And the third term is always positive. So positive terms in the trinomial, negative sign right there, subtraction in the binomial. Let's look at the next example. The cube root of 64k to the third is 4k. Match the sign in the binomial. 125 is 5 times 5 times 5, and L to the third, it'd be L cube root there, so 5L. Now let's square each of those and put it right here, 16k squared and 25L squared. All right, very good. Now, the middle term is the opposite sign from the binomial. We know the third term is always positive, and now we take the product of these two. 4k times 5l is 20kl. All right, hope you did okay. That's factoring the sum and difference of two perfect cubes. Thanks for watching, appreciate it, and if you have any questions, leave some comments on my YouTube channel, Math Class with Terry V. Thanks. All right, there you have it. I invite you to go to my website now, MathPowerLine.com, or email me or give me a call. The way I work best with students is live, online in my classroom. So if I can help you in any way, answer some specific questions, the first lesson with me is free as I show you how everything works. All right, study hard and take care.